Thank you very much, Gopal Shivakumar. You have made my job easy by explaining all the hypothesis statements and tests and all. So I hope I do not confuse whatever clarity you have got, participants. Please bear with me if I have confused you. But you have another session because after my session, you can ask questions. He will clarify it, any further doubts you have after my speech. Okay? Now, hypothesis introduction is already over. Now I'm going to teach you what is hypothesis and hypothesis test example, and what does it mean by fail to reject a null hypothesis, difference between type 1 and type 2 error, he has already explained, but which is worse, I'm going to tell you, difference between alpha and beta value, how to make decisions, everything he has covered, how to conduct hypothesis test. This is probably I will play a part here, and how to use z-test function in an Excel. Excel sheet, you will master it by the end of the session. That is, I can guarantee you. And comparing two population proportions with a hypothesis test with an example. These are all the things. Is it okay for you all? Please type okay for you. If it is okay for you all, please type okay. If you want to skip something, you can say skip something.
You are getting okay, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Hypothesis statements. See, null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. I told you the null hypothesis will be only like these three. Equal to or less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. You tell me any problem by the end of the session, I will convert this into this statement. And this is the null hypothesis statement. The rule is there should be an equal sign in the null hypothesis statement. Because that is what is claimed by the originator. The manufacturer's claim that my product will have so much sugar. That is equal to 20 grams of sugar, or less than or equal to 20 grams of sugar. Or if it is a high value item, greater than or equal to 20 grams of that item. So it will be like this. Null hypothesis is a statement made by the manufacturer, made by the school authorities or the industries or the companies thing. What is that alternative hypothesis then? Alternative hypothesis, if somebody finds a mistake in this, like I say that coffee, sugar is only this much. I just found that coffee is less, then I complain to my wife. That is an alternative hypothesis statement. Then what she will do? She will give it to somebody as an example, sample. Then he will say, oh yes, sugar is there. He may be afraid of my wife. But still he will say that it is okay. Then my wife will say, see that I have tested the sample. So sugar is okay. So this is what a claim is, just opposite of null hypothesis. If you say that it is equal to or less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, someone will come and say that no, it is, but he cannot just like that say that. Please note, I cannot, Tom, Dick and Harry cannot make this statement. You must have a valid sample. You must take at least a few bottles of medicine and then prove that the medicine is not as per the what do you call, whatever is guaranteed by them. The components guaranteed by them are not there in the medicine, then you can make that alternative hypothesis statement. Now, hypothesis statements, I'll give an example here. Mean marks of a class is 70. Your class, you can claim, as a teacher, you can claim your mean mark, that is all your students average 70 marks they have scored in your subject. This is a null hypothesis statement. It is your claim, right? Now, what they will say, some parents will come, no, all students are very great. Or your headmaster will try to tell somebody else, no, the mean mark is more than 75. She is a poor teacher, but the students are very good. Students have outperformed the teaching. They can say that this is an alternative hypothesis statement, please greater than. Here it is equal to. And then parents may say, what teaching you are doing? My students have got very low marks. The average mark of your class is only 65 and less than that. You are claiming 70, but the average marks scored by the students is only 65. I'm proving it. I got 3 students' marks. I averaged them. The 3 students have got only 65, 70, and 55. Average is only 65. This is an alternative hypothesis statement. Now, somebody has to make a decision which is correct. Is correct or is correct? Mean marks of a class is less than or equal to 70. So you want to play safe now. As a teacher, now you want to play safe. My class average will be 70 or little less than 70. That's all. Less than or equal to 70. Now what they will say that mean marks of class is greater than 70. All the bright students may come out and say, sir, our class average is more than 70, sir. Right? You are really teaching well, sir. They like you. They like your teaching. Students are always good. Right? And then mean marks of a class is greater than or equal to 70. Once they give you the confidence, now you will say next semester, my class average is definitely 70 or greater than or equal to 70. Then some poor students will come and say, sir, what sir, you are saying 70 and greater than 70 we will get. We have got a mean of only less than 70. Then you have to go and prove that no, it is only a random chance. Right? Normally it will be greater than or equal to 70 only. You can pacify them. Right? See, this is how. Please note, this is very, very important. Equal to will always be the null hypothesis. Equal to will never be there in the alternative hypothesis statement. Right? But there should be less than means less than or equal to 25 will be there. But to understand that, you can say that alternative hypothesis will never be equal to. Because without that number, we can't do the calculations. Because these are all statistics, we need numbers. So if I say less than 75, that 75 I will be using it. If it is greater than 85, I will be using the greater than 85 number, I will use it. Understand? Therefore, for understanding sake, therefore you will always remember that equal to sign will not be there. Even though equal to less than or equal to is okay, because that equal to sign I will be using it for testing the hypothesis. Right? This is different from this. If this is 70, this is not equal to 70, they will say. Not equal to you can add. Sorry, you can add not equal to also. You can add not equal to. The mean adult body temperature is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Now you can tell me this is a null statement or an alternative statement. Please type in your chat box. This is a null statement or alternative statement. If it is null, type null. If it is alternative, type A in your chat box. Are we getting? Are we getting
they are typing null.
Null, very good. It is a null statement because it's equal to. Right, very good. Thank you very much. It is a null statement. The mean adult body temperature is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. This is a null statement. Then we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Then our working hypothesis remains that the mean adult body temperature is 98.6 degrees. That means we are not rejecting the null hypothesis. We fail to reject. P value is more. Therefore, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Right? P value is more. By the end of the session, you will always remember P value is more means we fail to reject the null hypothesis. But what does this mean? Right? What does this mean? This does not mean that we are saying something about the null hypothesis. Right? We are questioning the null hypothesis, but we are not saying that it is true. We are not saying that null hypothesis is true. It is only an assumption. We started the test only with an assumption that null hypothesis is true. And then we fail to reject the null, we fail to prove that assumption. Right? Okay. Therefore, we say that it is okay. Right? Null hypothesis, okay. In studying a new treatment, the null hypothesis is that our treatment will not change our subject in any meaningful way. That means what it does is, in studying a new treatment, a medical new medicine is obtained. What is the null hypothesis? That the treatment will not change our subject. It will not give any effect. It will not give any improvement. It will not help these patients to recover. That is the null hypothesis. Right? It will not make any change. Please note, it will not, it is same as before. Equal to what he was. That was the null hypothesis. Right? Now, it will not produce any effect. That is what is the null effect. It will remain same. Right? That is the null hypothesis. The alternative hypothesis is that it will produce an effect. It will produce an effect. Now, we know that null hypothesis is this. Alternative hypothesis less than or greater than, just opposite of what it is. We say that we fail to reject. We know that fail to reject means we have not proved that it is true. We have not proved that null hypothesis is true. Please note, we only fail to reject it. You are not accepting it, right? It is okay. You are all accepting it because overall, over the years, we have been accepting it. You also continue to accept. Now, fail to reject means null hypothesis is okay. Whatever is going on smooth. Do not disturb. Right? What you have observed is only a random chance. It is not significant. Right? That means this is not significant. That is what it means. Okay. But then what if I reject it? If p value is low, I will reject it. P value is lower than 0.05, I will reject it. Right? So what do you mean by rejection? Rejection means this is significant. Alternative hypothesis is okay. It is significant. Right? At what level? The error that we make is 5%. Confidence level is 95%. So when we reject it, alternative hypothesis is significant. 95% confidence level, I'm saying that it is significant, but I'm not saying that it is okay. It is true. Right? You have to go and do further tests to prove that. Right? All that I'm saying is the decision is made only on null hypothesis. Right? Because of this, you are saying that, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that simply I'm saying that null hypothesis rejected. I'm not saying anything about it, but it is significant. So do further test, do something. That is what has happened to Maggie. Further test, destroy it. The mean adult body temperature is not 98.6 degrees centigrade Fahrenheit, as you said, because when I'm rejecting it, I'm saying that it is not 98.6. Your null hypothesis is 98.6. I am now saying that it is not 98.6. If somebody has claimed 100 degrees, you have to go and prove it. I'm not saying anything about 100 degrees centigrade, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Right? Now we will see about the data, observation, and what we are going to say is it real? What do you mean by is it real? Is that null hypothesis is real? Please note, we are going to question only null hypothesis. And one and only the question we are making is on null hypothesis. Is it real? And then we are making two statements. Null hypothesis statement, alternative hypothesis statement. Now, suppose the data is one numeric. That is marks. He has taken the example. I will take the same example. Students are there in the class. Take 30 students. Marks you want to say. They have claimed, you have claimed 70%. And then they are claiming something else. Average mark is not different from previously established average mark. That means average mark is only 70%. That is what the null hypothesis. Now average mark is different from 70 is what is the alternative hypothesis. Now you know how to make the null hypothesis statement and alternative hypothesis statement. Please note, I will give you a poll and then you'll have to add it. And please don't scribble on the screen, please. One category and one numeric. If the data is there, one category and one numeric, and the observation is again marks, then we do t-test. Average mark is not different from previously established. We can use z-test as well as t-test for this. There is a small difference. We will come to know it later on when we are doing the test, right? Then three categories, one numeric. Three categories, one numeric. And I will also try to give an example for this. And ANOVA test will be used. The thing is, we are considering three vendors and each one is responding to you very fast. The transaction time is very fast. And if there is no significant difference among the transaction time of the different vendors to you, then you can equally treat them. Or if there is a significant difference, then you have to select one for the order, right? You have to select one as the best one. This is what is the ANOVA test, right? You are selecting the best among the different categories. Now, difference between type 1 and type 2 error. Somebody was asking a question, what is type 2 error? And then explain beta and all, right? Which is worse? Very important. Now, for that, I will have to explain this. I hope you all know this. This is a standard distribution. This is a bell distribution. It has got a mean. It has got a variation. I just put 6 sigma. It's just like that I've shown it. And there is a shaded area, right? And which one has, can anyone answer which one has the wider variation, A or B? Type in your chat box, please. Type A or B. Which one has the wider variation? Shivakumar, tell me which one, has anyone answered?
Yeah, B. They started
B.
typing.
B has a wider variation. Very good. You can see that. If I want 50 mm ring, they are producing 25 mm to 90 mm. Here, 50 mm ring means producing 45 mm to 55 mm. Therefore, this has got a smaller variation. Distribution B is wider. Thank you very much. You answered the other one. Which one has a higher mean? Which one has a higher mean? Anyway, it is not mentioned, so you cannot answer. Thank you. Now, which one is p-value? Here is where the question comes. Tell me which one is p-value. Can anyone answer? I will ask the question, is it the white area or is it the gray shaded area? Are they answering?
Yeah, you are
Gray
getting.
area means type
Gray
G.
area. Gray area is the answer we are getting.
Very good. Gray area is the answer, but very good. This is the correct answer, but I also tell you the answer alpha value later on, right? Doesn't matter. You will be clear by the end of the session, right? Now, shaded area, the extreme and beyond extreme. Please note, this is very careful. This area and beyond this. This is a shaded area completely. I have not completely covered it. Should be completely shaded, right? That is the p-value. Very good. Which one is probability distribution? This one or this one? If it is both, write B. If it is left, say left. If it is smaller one, write A. If it is B, write B. Or else, write both. Answer is coming?
Not yet, not yet. Both.
Both, very good. Both are probability distribution. Very good. What does Y coordinate indicate? It indicates, let me not ask you more, probability distribution. That is called frequency distribution, right? And then what does the shaded area states? What does the shaded area states? Cumulative probability between two variable values. That is, this is one value, this is another value. The probability of occurrence between these two values is given by the shaded area. If I shade this two, then if I shade this entire area, what is the total area shaded? If I shade the entire thing, probability will be 100%. Please note that. Then what does the vertical line state? What does the vertical line state? The mean value of the variable cluster around. That is, this is the mean value and the data will be clustered around. More data will be around this. Minimum number of data will be scattered up to this end, it will go. And that is what is the distribution indicates. That is what the height level indicates. Which one is a better process? Can anyone answer? A or B? Type if it is A, type B if it is B.
Ramakrishnan sir, time
Yes.
is 11:45. We have another 45 minutes.
Okay, we will do it fast. No worry, don't worry. Answer is coming. Which one is better process? The variation being low here, A is a better process. Okay,
Yeah, people are saying A.
right. What does X coordinate state? X coordinate is a process variable. Process variable value. This is what is very important for you, right? And then what is alpha value? Shaded area fixed beforehand. This area I am fixing it beforehand. 5%. If it falls here, I will reject it. I will put here also the shaded area. If it falls on this side and this side, then I will reject it. It is called two-tailed test. Please note, it is same as the p-value that you said, but only thing is I am fixing beforehand the area. The area value is 5%. Why I am fixing it 5%? I want the error to be 5%. The significant decision should be 5%. That is why it is called the significant. 5% significant. Understand? Therefore, the p-value and alpha value are one and the same. Alpha value, we are fixing it. P-value, process is fixing it. We have to achieve the process such that alpha value is more than p-value. Right? If p-value is less than alpha, we reject it. If p-value is more than alpha value, then we say that the process is okay. Right? I'm sorry if I made a mistake. P-value should be more than the value that we fixed as alpha, which is 5%. Right? What is level of significance? The alpha value fixed as shaded area. The alpha value that we fixed as a shaded area is the level of significance. Right? Now, this is the process. I'm converting this process into like this. This is called standardized normal distribution. Why? Because my process value I'm converting into a Z value. And then I can use this curve. This curve has got a table of values we can use. For 5% value, Z value is 1.645. Okay, therefore, minus 1.645 and plus 1.645 is what you'll have to remember always. Or 5%. It is easy to remember 5% rather than the Z value. Now I have fixed the alpha value, the area is 5%. Now my process value is falling here. Test value is falling here. That means the area is more than alpha. P value is more than alpha. Therefore, I accept the null hypothesis. I fail to reject the null hypothesis. Both are same, right? So if H0 is true, null hypothesis is true, right? I have to accept it. Fail to reject means accept, but I am rejecting. Then the error is what? The error is this region. Whatever we have fixed as the alpha is the error, right? Okay, if it has to be rejected, but I am accepting it, then the error is alpha. Okay. The difference between alpha and beta values, let's say here. Now, the type 2 error beta, accepting the null hypothesis, when the null hypothesis is false. I have to reject the null hypothesis, but I am accepting it. Then this area is called the same thing, but only thing is this curve, no, the standardized curve, instead of drawing it from the null hypothesis statement, I will draw it from the alternative hypothesis statement. Understand? That's all. Otherwise, the same area to the left or right will be the beta and type 2 error, and power will be 1 minus beta, right? So here 1 minus beta is the power, beta is the error. Beta is the error and probability is 1 minus beta, right? So right decision. This is a right decision because p value is more. So, and you know what is a type 1 error? Here this is a right decision, right? So if the error is, if there is a wrong decision here, type 1 error. If there is a wrong decision here, type 2 error. That's all, right? So if you follow this, you'll be able to understand very clearly. When we send you the video, probably you can pass through and then pause it and see. The red value is the test value. The same thing, I will just go through this. Null hypothesis is denoted by, you know it, there will be no observed effect in the experiment. We are trying to find evidence against H0. Please note, we are trying to find evidence against H0, not for H0. Not for, we are not trying to prove that he is true, he is innocent, right? We are not, we are trying to prove evidence only against the null hypothesis. And we are not trying to prove for alternative hypothesis. We are not trying to prove against its alternative hypothesis also. These three are not at all our concern. We are trying to against H0 only is our concern. Evidence against is there or not. Against is there, then significant. Not there means your observation is not significant. The alternative observation is not significant. Right? All these things you know it. Lower means we reject. Higher means we fail to reject. The null hypothesis is not rejected. It does not mean that the null hypothesis is true. That is what I'm saying. We are not saying for it's not. We are not saying that it is true. We are saying that it is against, it is false or not false. Are we rejecting or are we not rejecting? This is very, very important. If you know this, you are half master of this subject. It is like the thinking in a legal verdict. If a person is declared not guilty, it does not mean that he is innocent. We are assuming at present, at first, he is innocent. Then the case proceeds. And it is not proved, the guilty is not proved. It is only proved that it is not guilty, he is not guilty. But he is not pronounced as innocent, right? It's exactly the same thing. Negation. Now, null hypothesis x is equal to y. How will you make the statement? Alternative hypothesis x is not equal to y. This will have to be given in the mathematical form. X is equal to y is the null hypothesis. X is not equal to y is the alternative hypothesis. null hypothesis is x is at least y. Alternative hypothesis, x is less than y. Then the statement in mathematical form are x is greater than or equal to y. At least y means greater than or equal to y. Alternative hypothesis is less than y. Right? Null hypothesis, x is at most y. That means less than or equal to y. Alternative hypothesis, x is greater than y. That is what I have written. Alternative hypothesis, x is greater than y. Null hypothesis is x is less than or equal to y. These are the only null hypothesis statements for any questions that you have in the world. Example, the mean air quality temperature, we have seen it. We have seen this. Let me go further. Now, this is another question. It is recommended that the teenagers aged 14 to 17 years get at least 8 hours sleep for proper health and wellness. A statistics class at a large high school suspects that the students at their school are getting less than 8 hours of sleep on an average. Right? Then what we do? To test their theory, they randomly sample 42 students and ask them how many hours of sleep. This is a test. Right? The mean from the sample is 7.5 hours. Here is their alternative hypothesis. HA is the average sleep per night is 8 hours. Appropriate ending of the alternative hypothesis is less than 8 hours. Alternative hypothesis is the average amount of sleep students at the school get per night is less than 8 hours is the alternative hypothesis. This is how to make the alternative hypothesis. This null hypothesis is written, alternative hypothesis is written. One more sample I will say. A newspaper report claims 30% of all tea drinkers prefer green tea. 30% of tea drinkers prefer green tea over black tea. They don't prefer black tea. Leo is office manager at the company with thousands of employees. He wonders if the newspaper's claim holds true. To find out, he asks a sample random of 125 tea drinking people, which they prefer, green tea or black tea. Leo's null hypothesis, the proportion of all tea drinkers at the company that prefer green tea to black is greater than or equal to 0.3, right? 30%. And a city had an unemployment rate of 7%. The mayor pledged to lower this figure and supported programs to decrease the unemployment. A group of citizens wanted to test if the unemployment rate is actually decreased. So they obtained a random sample of citizens to see what proportion of the sample was unemployed, right? He claims 7%. What is appropriate hypothesis for the significance test? Here, null hypothesis is P is equal to 7% and alternative hypothesis is P is less than 7%, right? A restaurant owner installed a new automated drinking machine. The machine is designed to dispense 530 ml of liquid on the medium size setting. The owner suspects that the machine may be dispensing too much in medium drinks. They decide to take a sample of 30 medium drinks and then find out the average is greater than 530 ml, right? What are the proportions of appropriate hypothesis for the significance test? I leave it to you, do it at home. You can check it, the answer is this, right? Now I'm running a class and what I do is I make a change in my screen. Then what I find is you are staying with me for more than 20 minutes. Null hypothesis, it is only 20 minutes even after the change. Even after put an attractive screen. Instead of my photo, probably Shivakumar Gopal's photo will be there, right? Handsome photo. Then probably you'll stay there for 25 minutes. I do not know. I want to change. See, if I made a change, instead of my photo, Shivakumar Gopal's photo, I put it. Alternative hypothesis, will it be greater than 20 minutes after the change, right? This is a significance level 0.05. I can check it. I can do a sample and then find out how many people are staying there in my lecture with my photo, with this photo, and then find out. Please note here, the statement I am finding out p-value has to be written like this only. Assuming that the null hypothesis is true, please note, this is what I have to read first. Assuming the null hypothesis is true, the mean value is greater than or equal to 25 minutes as observed by you in the alternative hypothesis. Okay? This is how I like to read the statement. It is not the other way, right? And p-value is lower than alpha means reject, greater than means do not reject. Now, this statement is not correct. This is not sample statistics. Sample statistics will come to the left. This statement will come to the right. Please note, this is how you have to read it. Assuming H naught is true, the sample statistic. What is the sample statistics? Your alternative hypothesis statement. So that is how we find out the p-value. This value or greater than this value. This value or less than this value, depending upon the problem. If we assume the null hypothesis were true, what is the probability that we got the result that you obtained in the alternative hypothesis statement? This is what it means. Hope I think I made everything clear. And this is a threshold.
Sorry to interrupt. Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Maybe you can allow the participant to ask a few questions. You have been delivering a lot of content, but I'm not very sure they are able to cope up with the content. Allow them for 1 minute. Participants, if there are any questions,
We'll start resume. Now, see, this is the problem we have taken in the beginning. Is there enough evidence to conclude that the population mean mark, that's a class mark, differs significantly from 70 based on the following sample marks of 30 students, right? 30 students marks are there, 5 students in each column, 6 columns, 30 students marks are there. The assumed standard deviation of the population is 3. That is 70 plus or minus 3. Now, there can be different statements will be there. Null is, mean is 30 in all the cases. Mean is less than 30, mean is greater than 70. And mean is greater than 75, mean is less than 75. These are all the possible hypothesis statements. Now what I do is I go to Excel and then take this range and I have a dummy range and then put these values and get the results. Put these values and the result I get is like this. The result I get is like this. What does this say? The mean of the sample that I have given is 65. Right? Observations 30. The known variance which I have said is 9. And Z value is minus 0.8. You know what is minus 0.8? Therefore, P value is less than 5, less than 0.05. Please mute yourself. Therefore, what we do is we reject the null hypothesis. The claim that 70 marks by the class teacher is not correct. If we reject the null hypothesis, therefore it is significantly low. We have to find out what is the cause. Right? Now what we will do is, this is another example. Here I have to reject the null. There. And here I am failing to reject the null depending upon two-tail. Right? Depending upon two-tail test for 10%, that means 5% on either side. This is the statement made by the null statement. That mean is 75. The claim is 75. After the good students report to the teacher, sir, it is 75%, not 70%. Then she made the claim, increased the claim, but she says that you reject this null. Right? 5% significance. Now here the answer is there, fail to reject and all. Now, what I will do is, I will go to this, I will stop this and go to the Excel sheet. I have to end the show here. I will go to this Excel sheet. Now, this is the marks. This is the 30 marks. Do you see the screen? Hello? Participants, do you see the screen? Type yes.
Yeah, screen is visible. Screen
okay.
Is visible. Excel.
Now, what I am doing is, I am just putting this here. Dummy. I am taking a dummy statistics. I am putting 0. This is also a normal distribution. Then what I do is, I take this data. There is a data analysis. You see my browser. You see my arrowhead. I'm going there. Once I go there, I get this pop-up. I go to this Z test. Z test is for 2 samples only there, but we have 1 sample. But I'm converting into 2 samples by putting a dummy statistics here. So now I'm putting it OK. Once I put OK, then it is asking, what is the variable range 1? I'm just going and taking this selection. Control, Shift, Enter. It is selected here. Then I'm going to the second dummy variable This is only one number, 0. So I'm selecting this. That is also selected. Now the mean difference is, we have said 70, right? 70 is the thing. 70 is a claim. So the difference I'm putting it as hypothesized difference, mean difference, 70. Then what is the variance known? The variance known, I'm just putting it known variance as 3. Because population variance we know. And the variance for the dummy variable, I know I have taken 0, but I can't put 0, therefore I put 0.0001. 0.00001. Right? And then I'm putting a label here because I have given labels here, school and dummy. The first row is label. And alpha value is significant level. The error that I can afford to make is 5%, 0.05 I put. Output range, I'm just going to put here. Output range, I'll just put here. Output range, I'll select here. I'll select here. And then I'll click OK. I got the result. And what I'll do is, I'll make it as clearly visible. 20. You get the same answer. See here. The answers are same. Right. So 1 tile and 2 tile I rejected. Less than also I am rejecting, and 2 tile also I am rejecting it. Therefore, this is what the answer I get. Probably I will leave it to Gopal Shivakumar to prove the same thing in Minitab. I will take some rest and come back to you and take another 2 problems and then show it to you if time permits. Thank you very much. I'll stop my share.
Right, sir. Thank you. So there is a question in the hypothesis is H0 not equal to 70. And for that, this result, I got it from Minitab. I am going to share my Minitab screen now so that you know how the Minitab software will look like. Column C1 contains my sample data. I have randomly selected 30 students from the school, right? And then their marks I have recorded here. So the 30th student's mark is 69. It is contained in the column C1. What Minitab contains an option here, statistics. I go to basic statistics and there is an option for one sample is a test. What it will do, it will determine whether the mean of your sample differs significantly from the mean of your population, right? When the population standard deviation is known. That is the main difference why we are not able to go to the, why we are not using t-test now. Since population standard deviation is known, we can actually conduct the one sample is a test. So here it is asking whether you have the summarized data or you have the raw data. It's a raw data. Where the raw data is available, sample data. Sample data is available in C1. I have selected it. And the population standard deviation, which is otherwise called the known standard deviation, is 3. Not the 5 I mentioned in the slide. And then now perform the hypothesis test. What is the hypothesized mean? Hypothesized mean is 70. And now I go for the option. Confidence level is 95%. That means this test I am conducting at a significance level of 5%. Right? Alpha is 5%. That is what confidence level is 95%. Now what is the alternate hypothesis? There are 3 choices. My first choice is not equal to. I give OK. Again I give OK. Now Minitab has given the result. You see here, one sample is the result is available. What I am interested is straight away this p-value. P-value is Minitab could tell me only 0 because it is much closer to 0. So it just rounds it off and gives me a value saying that p-value is 0. Now look at my PPT. There are many things which we can explain to you, but then it has to be a 2 days training. We recently did a faculty development program where hypothesis testing was explained in 2 full days. And that will be the best way of learning this topic. However, we try our best now. Here the same result I have brought here. P-value is 0. When P-value is 0, which is less than your alpha, so we have to reject the claim. Null is rejected. The school principal's claim saying that it is 70, average mark is 70, should be rejected. I do not know whether it is less than or more than, because I performed the test this way. It's just not equal to. Definitely it is not 70, and it is significantly different from 70. That is what it conveys. It may be on the left side moving to 65, or it may be on the right side moving to 75. Then, and the difference after movement, the difference, your process has shifted. Principal claims he is running a process whereby students will score 70. But reality is, over time, your process got shifted. To the right is good, to the left is bad. But anyway, shift has happened. And that difference in the mean after shift is significant. That is why we reject the null. After rejecting the null, we now you refer to the data and understand who is good or who is bad, because it's a two-tailed test. See, hypothesis, nothing but Thiruvalluvar has already said in his just 2 lines. Kannal parpadum, sorry. எப்பொருள் யார் யார் வாய் கேட்பினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பது அறிவுன்னு சொன்னார். This is nothing but hypothesis testing. Principal is saying something, but then what your data says, that is the fact. So this is the first conclusion. Second conclusion is right-tailed test. Maybe the teachers now not in line with the principle. They are saying that we are more than 70. Let us see whether the teachers are correct or not. For that, again, I will have to go to the Minitab. Minitab. Again, I'm going to Minitab. Now what I do is, I go to stat, I go to basic statistics. Once again, I go to one sample is a test. Everything is same. Only difference is the alternate hypothesis I'm going to change. Now teachers are saying the mean is more than hypothesized mean. Let us say the teachers claim, which is the alternate here, is correct, or once again, we have to stick with the null. And now, what happens? When I say the marks are yes, minute. Okay. Stat, basic stat. One sample is a test. Yes, hypothesis to make is perfect. Chosen the correct thing. Test mark selected. Options. Okay, 95%. So mean value is greater than hypothesized mean. I give once again. So now p-value comes to be 1. P-value comes to be 1. 1 means, see here, p-value is greater than alpha now. P-value greater than alpha means I cannot reject. Less than alpha, I reject. P-value greater than alpha, I cannot reject. What I cannot reject? I cannot reject the null. What is null? Average mark is less than or equal to 70. So less than or equal to 70 is correct, not the teacher's time. What the second test says. Now the third option, which is the left-tailed test. Maybe now the parents are climbing. What the parent now parents climb comes in the alternate. Your mark is less than 70. Right? So let me just conduct the left climb. Left-tailed test. Stat, basic statistics. Sample is the test. Everything is fed as usual. Only thing is the alternate I am just changing. Is now less than. I give OK. Once again, I give OK. Now, once again, my p-value becomes 0, closer to 0. So I go back to my PPT. See here, p-value is closer to 0. That means, sorry. So p-value is closer to 0. That means, once again, my claim is rejected. Claim is rejected means, now null is rejected. Now I come to alternate. What is alternate? Mark less than or equal to 70. That is the fact. Look at your sample data. See here, marks are less than 70 only. Then how can I make a wrong decision? This is the power of one sample is a test. Unless otherwise something really goes wrong because of your sampling error, your decision will be always correct. I am taking this decision at 95% confidence level. So that is why we strongly recommend you as a researcher, you as professional, you as a manager, or you as a leader in your organization, please start adopting to systematic way of decision making, which is data-based decision making, which is hypothesis testing. There are several types of hypothesis testing available. If we do it everything in a hurry, then it will be creating a confusion. So today what we learned is one sample is a test. When we do one sample is a test, when you have the sample and you have the population, and for the population, the mean and standard deviation are known. Under this scenario, you can use one sample is a test. And when t-test, if you do not know the parameters of your sample population, then in that case, you can make use of the another distribution called t-distribution, and that test will help you. And see, when you compare a sample with another sample, a sample with another sample, not with the population now. There is a two schools. One school is saying, I am doing great. Other school is saying, my percentage is better. Now the comparison is between the samples, not with the population, right? I take one sample from one school, another sample from another school, and these two samples are compared. Now the recommended test is two sample t-test. Recommended test is two sample t-test. Suppose I compare more than two samples, like Professor has already explained. You are a CEO of a company. You have three vendors: vendor A, vendor B, vendor C. You have given them some contract. So they are performing the work, and the transaction time is the way by which you actually measure your vendor's performance. I repeat, transaction time is the parameter with which you assess your vendors: vendor A, vendor B, vendor C. What is transaction time? Time is a continuous data. Please understand, time is a continuous data. What type of data you handle, that is also an important factor while selecting the hypothesis testing. When your data is continuous, you have the option of using z-test, you have the option of using t-test, you have the option of using ANOVA. And t-test, when you compare only two samples, it is two sample t-test. When it is more than two samples, the option is ANOVA. In the example, you as a CEO, you are evaluating three vendors. And how do you evaluate? Using the transaction time. Transaction time is a continuous data. What is a continuous data? A measurable data. Time can be measured precisely. So time is a continuous data. And so output is continuous, and your comparison is between three vendors, and you take a sample and take the decision. This procedure is ANOVA. It's called one-way ANOVA because you consider only one factor, which is transaction time. You consider two factors, then it becomes two-way ANOVA. It goes like that. So similarly, for discrete data, now I talked about the continuous data, which is z-test, which is t-test, which is ANOVA. Similarly, for the discrete data, you have tests like two proportion test, one proportion, two proportion, and chi-square test. So for you to master this subject, you really have to spend some quality time and work on multiple examples and real life cases. And then you can easily master this subject. In our experience, you will have to spend 2 full days. And then after 2 days, you can proudly say you are a master in hypothesis testing. And then all your findings from your research will give, valuable findings to the society. So instead of me keep on, covering up the topic in just this short webinar, instead of that, I would like to give you a strong message, like hypothesis testing is a decision-making procedure. We make the decision based on data. Data-based decision-making procedure is hypothesis testing. And how confident you are in doing so, that is your confidence level. That means the balance is the sampling error, which could be type 1, which is alpha. And then there are several types of hypothesis testing available. I have explained the context for continuous data, isn't it? Like the z-test, t-test, and the ANOVA. And then but ultimately at the end of the hypothesis testing, what you get is you get to understand whether the factor you are working on, maybe research, you are working on a chemical process, you wanted to enhance or improve the yield of a chemical process, and you have a suspect on 3 factors. One is the reaction temperature, another one is reaction time, another one is the type of catalyst you are using. Now there are 3 factors which you suspect that they could affect the yield of the process. Now what you need to do is you will have to prove your suspect. Yes, temperature, the reaction temperature is the culprit in my process. If I fine tune my reaction temperature properly, automatically the chemical process yield will be improving. That could be a finding from your research. Then how do you do? That is hypothesis testing. So in this case is once again now for the temperature, how many levels you have? Low, medium, high, or low and medium. And based on that, the testing will differ, isn't it? So, and then once based on your test, what you understand whether the factor is significant or not, whether the factor is critical or not. If it is critical, if it is significant, if your p-value is less than alpha, then what you suspected as a researcher is correct. Go ahead and optimize your factor. That will automatically produce the result you want. And how will you optimize? That is next level. Hypothesis testing will only tell you whether a factor is critical or not. The moment you understand a factor is critical, then optimization, you will have to use the next powerful tool called the design of experiments. That is again another 2 full days for you to master the subject. And if you simply understand these systematic ways of carrying out your research, society will be benefited with meaningful conclusions, meaningful findings, meaningful results from your research. That is the reason why 95% of our research we are not able to commercialize, because either we because we make findings by executing a wrong procedure. Maybe we allow the measurement error to get accumulated. Measurement error is another big story. That is before hypothesis testing, because whatever data you collected, what is the guarantee data collected is credible for analysis? That is what we call it as measurement system analysis. That has to be performed first. The data has to be first, should not have any error, measurement error. And then after that, sampling error. And this based on the sampling error, we make a decision whether the factor is significant or not, critical or not. And then after hypothesis testing, we move on to the next level called factor optimization, which is design of experiments, where things like correlation, regression also comes into picture. When you are actually trying to compare a factor with an output. Output is a continuous data, input also continuous data. For example, height and weight, speed and the mileage your vehicle gives, the calories I consume and the weight I gain. All these things, both are continuous data. In that case, hypothesis testing like correlation analysis and regression analysis will be very, very helpful to you. But then you can really master this subject in a very, very easier manner. But then you will have to spend quality time in understanding the concept, right? So time is also 12:25. So we wanted to respect the time, your time, our time, and everyone's time. So I end my talk here, and then the rest of the time, 4 minutes or even to take up any of your questions, right? So thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity. And we do plenty of programs, which probably you will come to know through social medias and others. If you're really interested, you can register for other programs. Some of the programs we offer are hypothesis testing, design of experiments, statistical process control, and then we conduct failure mode and effect analysis and quality control tools and things like that. And also we conduct the Six Sigma trainings and all. If some of you really wanted to master your problem solving skill set, master your decision making skill set, you can follow us and you can attend our sessions. So thank you all. Thank you one and all for the opportunity.
Any questions? And if you have any slides to show, you can show, Shivakumar.
Yes,
otherwise, we will ask for the questions now.
Yeah. And feedback link also to be posted. I'm just reminding the organizer. I think it is posted. Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Participants feedback link has been posted. What do you feel about the program? Your voice is very important, because end of the day, that is quality, right? So we want
one more poll, I think. Can I add one more poll?
I think, sir, we need to ask the participants. Better let them talk. We have consumed all the time. Let us participants, please understand, you need to talk, right? Your questions and then your interactions only makes the program meaningful. So another poll comes. You wanted to?
I don't have that result.
Sir, another poll appears. You want them to answer? Please announce, sir.
1 second. I don't know how I'm going to end it, no?
So Dr. Kumar has made an important announcement. If some of you are really interested in attending a 2 days program on hypothesis testing, I think Arjun College of Technology, Coimbatore is interested in hosting the program, and we can very well conduct everything in a very slow paced manner to really make all of you much more powerful in solving your customers' problem, solving your business problem, and making you a good decision maker using hypothesis testing.
Sir, I have launched another poll asking their comments only. If they are not asking any comments, they can give the comments here on the poll.
Okay, you can give your feedback in the poll also, and I will be more happier if some of you talk to us directly, so that we get a feel of how our customers feel.
Thank you very much.
You are the customers.
Thank you all.
So the recorded
videos
will be shared with all the participants so that you can go through again and again and understand all the points. So once again, thank you, friends, and thank you, Dr. Kumar, for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you very much. I think we are closing the session here and hoping to see you soon at any place or at any other place.
Yeah,
place or other place.
Sir, someone want to talk. Who is that? Please go ahead.
Myself. Unmute. Yeah.
So, yes. Myself, Professor Kumar.
Yes, Dr. Kumar. Yes, sir. Please ask the question.
Yeah. Nobody is raising the question, Professor. Shall we move to vote of thanks?
Yeah,
please.
Yes, because we are expecting interaction, but everybody busy with filling the feedback form because the certificate is very important.
Oh, correct.
Small announcement, participants. Based on the Zoom attendance and the feedback form only, the certificate will be issued. You are just joining now and you are expecting certificate means we will not provide certificate to you. Please note down. The daily we are getting, we are doing 3 to 4 programs. Those are joining in 1 minute, they are leaving the room within a minute, they keep on asking the certificate. So, based on the Zoom attendance and your feedback, the certificate will be issued within 3 days. It will take time. We have to get clearance from the quality circle. Then only we will eligible to send the certificate to the respective mail ID. I think it's clear. And dear participants, shortly we plan to have extended version of today's program. I type the content in the chat box. Those who are willing, you can type your feedback about today's program and willingness to join the extended version of the today's program. Based on that only we can have, because we don't want more number of participants. We want minimum those who are really in need of this content. We don't want to say 1,000 people have participated program. We don't like that. We want only the needy people and interactive sessions.
Yeah, sir. One participant, Renuga, is asking, is it going to be a paid program or free
program? We are not decided, Professor.
Okay.
1 day or 2 days, that will take time. Shortly.
Express your interest at the moment.
Interest is important.
Always you can.
Everybody is interested. We can get unpaid also, but depending upon the duration of the program.
Duration is 2 days, 2 full days on hypothesis testing. At the end of 2 days, you
will discuss participants. Actually, so Kumar sir already mentioned, we plan to have a design of experiments. So many things are for needy people, like the topic today, what we discuss, hypothesis testing for researchers. We mainly concentrate only the people who really need the things.
Certainly, you will become a powerful researcher. And researcher.
And as Kumar sir said, please interact. At least type your question in the chat box. I think
typing.
Thanks to Bhatnapriya. I think Bhatnapriya.
Yeah.
She keep on typing question to my mail for 3 to 4 days. Okay, Professor.
Speak out. That is very important.
Because training online is really a challenging job. You all as teachers agree with me. Our job as online It's not that easy unless you encourage us, unless you interact with us time to time.
First thing is we can't make mistakes and you keep on asking for recorder. Right? I don't know how you will use it against us. But we are game for it. We have confidence, 95% confidence.
But I'm sorry, I have not, covered up fully. Both of us, we have not covered up fully because we really do not want to pour everything in a short time, that means we will not be doing justice in what we are doing. That is the main reason. Probably we will meet again with another a complete program where we'll go in a very slow and properly paced manner, then certainly benefit out of it. Yeah, DOE also, one participant is asking, arrange a session on design of experiments. See, the job market is also huge. Please understand, participants, the moment you master yourself as a good problem solver, good decision maker, you can immediately become a consultant and you can make a lot of money for your organization, even as a faculty. See, you have a lot of resources, a lot of PhD holders, postgraduates, graduates, and students. A huge amount of resource available. If you tap it properly, then industries will run towards.
Sorry for disturbance, Professor. Sorry for
Yeah. Please continue.
Padma Priya is willing to talk. Padma Priya is, I think, is trying to talk.
Yes.
We wanted to talk. Also, please, faculty members, if you.
That's the thing I'm saying. She is first participant entered the room by 10:05, I think so. Madam, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. It was very informative session. Being a research scholar, we had so many doubts regarding how to frame a hypothesis statement also. Today it got very much clear, and we do guide certain projects to our students where we were very much doubtful regarding whether the set hypothesis is correct or not. So that clarity we have got today, and so much doubts have been cleared, but still we want more information about this and more explanation about it. So we are expecting to have more classes from this side, sir. And we are very thankful that even in lockdown, we are able to hear to such professors, wherein it has become very easy for us to understand the concept as it's too simple. Which we were thinking as a very difficult task that we can make it understand to the students. You made it very clear in a simple manner, and it will be very helpful if you are sharing the PPTs with us. Thank you, and I thank organizers for organizing a very informative and a helpful session to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Madam,
and I just want to add up on this. Somebody wanted DOE, We have done a 2-day session, 2 full-day session. That is around 14-hour session on DOE. It is such a big subject. Probably in 2 hours, we will try to cover if somebody asks for it. But I doubt, but whether we can throw out everything that we have on hand. Right? We will try our best.
We always believe in going along with the participants. There is no point simply making the show as a TV channel show. It will not serve the purpose, right? Like we can actually leverage the technology and make use of it and get more benefit out of it. We can make even the online training more effective than a classroom training, for which the support from the participant is very, very important. So only with the support of the participant, we can plan 2 full days program and all. Only those who are seriously interested in learning hypothesis testing, seriously interested in learning the design of experiments, we have planned plenty of activities even in an online training. And by hand, you will be performing certain work, and then that data will be captured, and live we will be demonstrating how to do hypothesis testing, how to do DOE and all, right? So that is the best way of learning. So I think, yeah. Napa, you wanted to talk? Please.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Kantaraj.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Dr. Gopal and Dr. Ramakrishna, thank you for fantastic presentation. And it's really fantastic. See how prolonging session also, we didn't get any bore or not even a single minute. We didn't get any kind of like that. So in that way, you both are managing both is very, very difficult. Because it's such a subject, both are managing the same topics and sharing and all. It's very, very difficult. So hats off to you.
That is possible because participants were cooperative. I must thank all. Don't say only two. The victory is for all the three.
No, sir. You said
Shivakumar, Gopal,
everybody should mute. No, that is a success. Okay.
No. You were asking questions. Please note. Participation was there, but only thing is people were shy in asking. That also I'm very happy to thank Padma Priya. At last she has come out and spoken out. Because this is a reward we were expecting.
We really
this is what is a reward like for us. Your speaking is a reward for me.
No, from my side, once this lockdown, this COVID-19, everything goes on, I will be disturbing you both, Dr. Ramakrishna and Dr. Gopal. I want personally come and meet you because it is so nearly 30 years. I visited Coimbatore. I worked in LG Balakrishnan Brothers in Coimbatore for 3 months.
Very good.
In 92, 3 months I was there. So because of you two scholars and the research professors, I should again come to Coimbatore and I can see you.
It will be our pleasure.
Thank you, sir. These are all tonic for us. Participants praising orally, coming on face to face, and then telling you are sir, you are good, you are informative. This is what we want. It will motivate us to give more. That is what we are saying.
Sir, Vinodini madam, come up.
Vinodini madam, please speak.
Vinodini madam. Vinodini madam has raised the hand.
Whoever want to talk, it's an opportunity. Maybe another few minutes.
12:40 will close.
Anyway, a decision should be taken by Arjun College of Technology to hold on the session for another few minutes or to close it. They are the organizer. Dr. D. Kumar is the authority.
Professor, shall we wind up?
Thank you. Yes, okay. Thank you very much, all the participants. See you soon because the world is short, and definitely we will come and meet you once more to know more about you and us. Thanks. Bye. See you.
1 minute, Professor.
Yes.
Oh, 1 more minute.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What is
last minute?
Yeah, last.
On behalf of Arjun College of Technology.
Yes.
And Arjun Group of Industries, and my sincere thanks to both the experts for very, very nice presentation with appropriate examples, polls, informative, entertaining, interactive session, professors. Thank you very much. The feedback shows how much we are have entertaining session. Thank you very much on behalf of all the participants and Arjun College of Technology. And hope we are going to meet shortly with the extended version of today's program. Thank you, professors.
Thank you for giving.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bye.